most people don't understand the history in America. Not only have we been denied in our education, which has kind of scrapped all of the history of our founding on God and the statements by our early founders, and for our why that's important. The Declaration of Independence was saying that we have our rights because God gave them to us. And if there is no God, we have no rights. The government can do whatever they want, but they certain things that the Constitution then is fulfilling in the Declaration that protects our rights. And by not understanding the founding of our country on the God of the Bible, then who gives us free will to follow him or not, then we are not going to have protection for our rights. And this is one of the reasons why we do need to get back that education to understand that God has the foundation of this country. And as we've been moved away from it, then that's how we lose more and more rights, because we're not founded in understanding our declaration. And we are the country that all the people want to come here, and this is why. And so if we get rid of all of the reasons why we are a blessed nation, then there's going to be nowhere that people can go. And Ronald Reagan said, if we lose America, there's no other place to go. So we do need to understand and revisit our original documents and understand where our freedoms come from, and then how to protect our republic. We are not a democracy, we're a republic that is to represent each individual, and each individual has rights, and we can give our consent to someone else who will represent us in our government. And we aren't thinking about that when we vote anymore.
Our rights come from God. We're made in God's image, and we have inalienable rights that the government can't take away. And when the government tries to create laws that usurp the laws of nature, then we need to definitely stand up against it and fight.
Right.
Because the government is not God. And
right. But this is why voting is so important. We need to understand what our vote's going to do, and what our vote is going to promote by who we elect. So we do want to know what people stand for. Do they care about our inalienable rights when they're voting on something? And we are being lax in giving the information to our legislators about how we want something to be, and what for or against certain laws that are being thought about to be voted on. If we don't tell them and they don't know, how can they govern
with our
consent when they don't know what we want.
When we don't tell them.
Yeah.
That's a very good point. And the left is taking very clever measures to get people to vote for people that aren't going to stand up for rights, to get people to vote for people who want bigger and bigger governments and don't treat everybody equally. And that's been a concern of mine, is there's a lot of groups out there, even League of Women Voters and 411 affiliated with that, and others that look very nonpartisan on the surface, like, hey, do your own American thing. But then you dig deeper and you realize they're really promoting a leftist agenda and leftist candidates. Whereas, at least in Shawnee County, what we try to do is we just come out and say who we are and why we are that. And then when we take you to the resources, it's the official resources, like the Secretary of State's Voter View website, that you can go to register to vote, and you can see your sample ballot near an election. You can find your polling place. So anyway, we're trying hard to get the truth out, to help people understand and to grow in our own knowledge of the foundations of this country, that it's based on each individual is so important and even loved by God, their creator. And so we want to treat each other well, and we want to be informed citizens that protect our rights and our freedoms and vote accordingly. Anything else?
Nope, sounds
All
good.
right. Thanks so much. God bless.